Loco, loco, loco. Loco, loco, loco. Private Justin, look at Private Justin. You got to have sympathy for those who didn't have parents that cared. No, I don't. Listen, all right, this is Friday Eve, so we going to act like it's Friday. Man, I don't give a fuck about you. You got to tell your mama to have sympathy for you. You know what I'm saying? Tell that funky hoe, that streetwalker that was over there putting a man before her children and was on Section 8 the whole time to have sympathy. I don't have to have the sympathy for you. Why do I care about you? I don't care about you. I don't care about your mama. I don't care about your daddy. Dog, I hope your whole family lineage get wiped off the face of the earth. Man, I wish I was Thanos. I'd snap your whole lineage away. Give a fuck about you. Suck my man. Let me stop. Lord, forgive me. You gotta have sympathy for people that don't care. I don't have to have nothing. Only thing I have to do is pay my taxes and go and spend this money. Oh, you grown men, you grown little sassy hoes. Yes, and it's men that are sassy hoes. You sassy little hoes, always looking for sympathy. You always want somebody to care about you. Shut up and go get a job. Go. If you want somebody to care about you, then be productive members of society. We don't have to care about you. Why do you care about your little stupid mama? That funky hoe. Go hold her accountable. Don't hold me accountable. I don't even know you. I ain't never seen you before. You ain't even got no profile picture. Dummy. Anyways, let's you gotta have sympathy for those that didn't have parents. I believe they need to cut off social services to your family. Dummy. Anyways, Los Angeles, $1 billion budget shortfall. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Rebuke weak men. God.
Well, serious financial headwinds for the city of LA, as last week we learned the city is facing a nearly $1 billion deficit in the next fiscal year.
Here's what political journalist John Rigardi told us about the economic health of the city.
I've covered City Hall for a long time, and I've not seen anything this dire since the depths of the Great Recession. This far exceeds even the shortfalls that we were seeing in the early period of COVID-19. In the next few years, it's going to be a really tough time to be Mayor Karen Bass and CAO Matt Szabo.
All right, there. You heard his name there, right? And City Administrator Matt Szabo joins us now with more. Matt, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, $1 billion deficit, point blank. How did we get here?
Well, thank you. The city is facing and being hit with a confluence of negative developments. We were already in difficult economic times due to inflation and high interest rates. And that was putting downward pressure on city revenues. A lot of our city revenues come from economic activity, from sales taxes, from business taxes, from taxes on stays in hotels, and of course, taxes on sales of homes. So we were already struggling heading into this new year. The fires made those challenges much, much worse. And then third, we are now looking at the potential for economic downturn as it relates to federal policies, principally immigration policies and trade policies, both of which are inflationary. And that has caused us to revise our revenue projections down for next year by more than $300 million.
So let me break this down from a C student's perspective as to what is really happening. So basically, whoa, what just happened there? What did I just do? What did I just do? Let me get that off my screen. There we go. All right, basically what is going on is Los Angeles had been subsidized by bad tax policy for so long that now it's starting to catch up to them. I'm going to really break this down for y'all, really simple, so that a fifth grader can understand it, okay? The reason why the Trump administration is so focused on making sure that we tamp down and clamp down on government spending, government waste, that we have to eliminate a deficit. We can't have a $1 to $2 trillion budget deficit. We can't keep borrowing. We can't keep paying interest on the debt. We can't keep having the federal government and its workers being subsidized by taxpayers, is because this is exactly what will happen to the federal government if we don't get some control. It's going to be so dire that Los Angeles is facing a $1 billion budget deficit. Do you one better? California is facing tens of billions of dollars in a budget deficit from these Democratic strongholds. And what they've been doing is recklessly spending y'all money. They've been borrowing Peter to pay Paul, and they've been basically paying interest on borrowing money. So what they're looking to do, what the legislators is looking to do, because they haven't been running Los Angeles or California like a business, like Trump is trying to run the federal government, what they're trying to do is say, well, wait a minute, it's because we have fires. Has nothing to do with it. Zero to do with it whatsoever. They were already trying to cut the budget for the fire department and several other departments before those fires even broke out. They was already in shambles. They already had borrowed to their ilts, to their eyeballs. They had already maxed out on a credit card. And so basically, multiple people are leaving California because it's so unaffordable, and they were dependent on the federal government subsidizing by giving all of this money so that they could have these social programs and migrants and what all of that stuff. And then they make that a part of the city budget. And then they start using funny accounting to then justify spending in places because there is no real audits that's happening in California or Los Angeles. And now they have to face layoffs, thousands of people, which means that now y'all city services, because if the federal government didn't go and cull and find out where it is that we actually need federal agencies and where we need to get rid of it, eventually what would it lead to? Layoffs. But they don't like the word layoffs, right? They don't like that word. And so basically Los Angeles is going to go the same way as what? Chicago, Los Angeles, Denver, all of these places, Maryland, they're all facing budget shortfalls. And instead of them making sure that they had the same spending levels as before the pandemic, they then baked that into their federal budget and made it seem like, hey, wait, during the Biden administration's years, we were actually doing okay. No, they were printing more money and they were taking taxpayer dollars and they was distributing it to all of these places and all of these cities, and they made that a part of their budget. So then they had to say, you know what, listen, we got to go back to before it was pre-pandemic spending because we don't have a pandemic anymore. So y'all got to actually learn how to manage y'all budget and use y'all city resources. Remember what was happening over there in Oakland? Remember how everything continued to be messed up? Hey, remember when California and Los Angeles said that they was going to spend $28 billion eradicating homelessness? Not only is Los Angeles operating at a budget deficit, they got the Olympics coming soon. So what they going to do? Big Trump. They're losing residents. They got a budget deficit. They're about to start having layoffs. And then guess what? Guess what then starts to suffer? It's a downward spiral. Schools, infrastructure, public safety. Schools, infrastructure, public safety. This is what happens in liberal strongholds that mismanage money, think that they can continue to borrow it, and kick the can down the road and don't manage their city like a business. Los Angeles is in shambles. California in shambles. Chicago in shambles. Illinois, shambles. Maryland, shambles. Denver, shambles. New York is kind of almost too big to fail, but they are in shambles. I predicted that this was going to happen. And then y'all gonna do what? Get rid of Karen Bass, bring in a worse version, another diversity, equity, and inclusion hire, and it's going to be the same thing. And then they going to blame it on the previous administration, and they not going to solve for the problem. It's messed up.
As it relates to federal policies, principally immigration policies and trade policies, both of which are inflationary. And that has caused us to revise our revenue projections down for next year by more than $300 million.
So, Matt, as you're well aware, Viewers
That
may
means
not
that
be
they're
the
going
city
to
of
take in $300 million less next year than they are this year. And then the year after that, it's going to get exponentially worse.
Los Angeles is legally not allowed to run a deficit. So you said there will be, quote, extremely difficult cost-cutting decisions to be made. Potentially thousands of layoffs. Is there a way to work through this without a large number of layoffs?
No, it's not. Listen, whatever he about to say, and I haven't seen what he about to say. Whatever he about to say, it's a lot. It's no way around it. It's no way around it. You know how they get mad because Trump is proactively right-sizing the government, the federal government? That's what they need to do over in every single city, or the economy is going to force you to.
It will be
difficult.
at this stage, and why I made that statement to the council is that we do need to prepare for that magnitude of position reductions. Closing.
See how they use all of these trick words as word salad? It will be, something of that magnitude. It's going to be difficult to evolutionize without system reductions and efficiencies. And we need to find out where the redundancies are so that we could ensure that the city services continue to move forward. No, dog, you need to do layoffs because you got too many people being subsidized by your local government. You can't justify and pay your debt and pay the city's credit card bill and be able to offer good education and services to your children, and you got to do layoffs. Let's just call it what it is. You could say all of that word salad, add it whatever you want to add it in, be whatever you want to be in the army, whatever. Just call a spade, man.
A billion-dollar gap will be a serious challenge for the mayor and the council. The mayor has given me explicit instructions, however, to look at every possible path to make the city more efficient, to consolidate services, to consolidate departments, so that we can better absorb the necessary reductions and minimize the loss to city services to the extent that there would need to be.
Dog, did I not just almost say word for word verbatim what he just said? We need to minimize the impact of the loss of city services so that we can still serve our residences. They say the same thing, they just remix it and say it in different varieties and forms.
We are also looking at other opportunities for revenue and using our dollars more efficiently. But to close a billion-dollar gap will require significant reduction in spending. And again, it's because we're bringing in so much less revenue than anticipated and facing higher costs, not just in city costs, but also in lawsuits.
Okay. So when we talk about these layoffs at this early stage, where do you see them coming? What services could be impacted? And most importantly, our viewers want to know, will residents feel the pain? And do you worry that some impacted residents might actually go elsewhere, potentially taking more city revenue with them?
And more people are going to be leaving, which means it's going to be less people, and more people are going to have to be able to carry that burden of city services, which means that y'all property taxes is going to go up. And y'all already taxed through y'all eyeballs. They are going to look to raise revenue and lower costs, which means that they're going to have more layoffs, they're going to have more people leaving, and then more people shouldering the burden by higher taxes. I'm telling you. I'm warning you. I've been telling y'all for the longest. I've been trying to keep y'all up to date. I've been letting you know how you're going to be impacted for the longest. I've been trying to warn y'all over and over and over and over again. And you keep saying, oh, Anton, it's not about that. It's about Black Lives Matters and all of that. No, man, it comes down to the money. It's coming down to the money, dog. I am warning you right now, it is going to get ugly. Ugly. Get out of Los Angeles. Get out of these liberal cities. Get out of Houston. Get out of all of these places. I'm telling you. You like the weather, but you ain't going to like the taxes. It's going to get bad. Over these next 3 to 4 years for a lot of these cities, it's going to get very, very, very bad. And you don't want to be the last one to turn the lights off, because your property values ain't going to be up and you're going to have to walk away and get foreclosed on.
Well, certainly the work that's happening right now is attempting to minimize that. Ultimately, it's the decision of the mayor and the city council to approve whichever reductions are ultimately to be implemented in July. And again, as I said, we're working at the direction of the mayor to minimize impacts to city services and to look at other revenue and other cost-saving opportunities with our payroll and through other means. So I can't say exactly right now which services will be impacted. That will be at the discretion, ultimately the decision of the mayor and the council. I could just say that in working to close this gap, we're certainly looking to minimize the impact to city services. The mayor will propose her budget on April 21st.
And I will be right
able
there
to have a public discussion about it at that time.
Matt, in your presentation to City Council last week, you said the mayor directed your office to take steps for consideration in her budget. What are you recommending? Are you able to share that with us?
I can't share that at this time, but we are looking, as I said, to make the city more efficient in how it delivers services. That may mean if we have to reduce the number of staff dedicated to various programs, to look at consolidation of departments and to take advantage of a larger department to make that delivery of the service more efficient. We are looking at ways to save dollars on our benefits and other payroll savings that we can achieve without layoffs. And so those are under development and under consideration by the mayor currently.
It is a big ask, and the mayor went for it this week, and members of the city council, they were in Sacramento requesting $2 billion in funding to aid in the deficit. What would that money actually go to, and do you anticipate the city receiving those funds?
Well, I think it's important to consider part of the reason that we're facing this revenue challenge is related directly to the wildfires. Yes, the wildfires were localized in the Palisades and in the Altadena area, but the impact that it has is citywide and countywide. UCLA estimates that due to those fires, the area will suffer $4.6 billion in loss of economic activity. And with that loss of economic activity, that directly relates to the loss of sales tax and business tax and hotel tax and other taxes that directly fund our police department, our fire department, our recreation and parks department. So we're clearly making the case, and the mayor is making the case that as part of state consideration of aid to the city of Los Angeles, that there should be a consideration for the revenue loss that will affect the frontline public servants that are delivering our most critical services. I'm hopeful.
You know what's so funny? You know what's so interesting about this is that, was that yesterday? No, it was the day before yesterday. They had a meeting because we're opening up several skyscrapers here in Detroit. And I know it's a lot of people that don't really get what's happening in the city. And some of y'all that's actually visited here recently, you see what the transformation is. We actually have a population surplus and a budget surplus. And shout out to Mike Duggan. I got invited, which I wasn't able to go because I had some prior commitments. But I got invited to go and visit the new Hudson site that's being opened soon, and then also possibly take a tour over the next couple of months for the new residences that is being opened up in the Hudson site of the city. And I didn't even plan on making this a part of it, but this was something by Bedrock, and it's funny because I didn't even know that the inside of the buildings was open now for the new skyscraper. I didn't even realize it. I should have been here, and I should have been recording myself.
You are hearing this from the Hudson's Detroit building, a magnificent building that literally rose from the rubble, soaring skyward in the city of Detroit. The Hudson store that sat on this site opened in 1911. It was once the largest retail store in all of America. And through most of the last century, it was the place of celebration because it means a lot to Detroiters. Dan has changed the course of the city, and I just want to say tonight, Dan, how much you mean to everybody in this city.
And shout out to the different billionaires that take a vested interest in the success of the building. Also, one of the things that's being proposed is very interesting. One of the things that's being proposed is, actually, it's not even being proposed, it's something that's happening, is they're completely redoing the Riverwalk. And so where so the Hudson's building is interesting because the Hudson's building is where General Motors' new headquarters is going to be. So it's going to be a mix of corporate mixed with, some street walk and all of that stuff. And then in addition to that, last but not least, it's also going to be, where they have a lot of residences and hotels and stuff like that. And it's funny because they involve the residences in a lot of the things that they're trying to figure out and develop. And so one of the things that we've had here in the city, which a lot of people are not familiar with, is the #1 Riverwalk in the entire nation. Wow, it's funny that that's gone. As we've had the #1 Riverwalk in the entire nation. And I think that Mayor Mike Duggan, who is now going to be running for governor of the state, I think that he'd probably be a great governor. But one of the things that we're also doing is we're tearing down portions of General Motors headquarters that they're at now, and then we're instilling a new Riverwalk, and it's going to kind of be like a Navy pier.
Detroiters react. It's a plan for redevelopment along the riverfront.
Mayor Mike Duggan laying out the concept in his final State of the City last night. Now here's a look at the renderings. The plan calls for demolishing 2 of the towers and building a 6-acre riverfront park.
Looks pretty nice. Well, I was there today talking with people about plans for the riverfront redevelopment and showing them the renderings.
Would be great, I guess, a good way to attach more tourists here, and especially for the residents as well.
Who is the public that is being envisioned, and how do we expand the vision of who the public is?
Chicago does not. There is no ranking that says that Chicago has the best Riverwalk, not even by a mile. It's Detroit and then it's San Antonio, actually.
But of course, I wanted to go to the source, Mayor Duggan, to get his take on his vision, some reflection on his time in office, and to find out what comes next. What is the vision for everything around us right now?
Well, Matt Cullen and the Riverfront Conservancy have done an amazing job of building a river walk. And what Dan Gilbert wants to do is build an entire riverfront now. I mean, to take this huge parking lot that's been here for the Renaissance Center and turn it into the equivalent of what Chicago has with Navy Pier. I mean, Michigan's premier.
So that's essentially what the Riverwalk is going to be. So what you see, which sometimes I show y'all when I'm doing it from home, out of my apartment or out of my penthouse, and I show y'all what the look is. This building right here, this large building, is actually General Motors headquarters. They're going to be moving over into the Hudson's building, and then they're going to tear down 2 towers and build an entire riverfront entertainment district that basically allows for you to have concerts and all of that stuff on the Riverwalk, in addition to just having a very long, sweet Riverwalk. So essentially over the next 2 years, which is one of the reasons why the property values is exploding all around this area, is you're basically going to be having a pier where people have an entertainment district, and it's going to get rid of a lot of the streets, and instead it's going to have a Riverwalk. So this is the thing that is now being developed by Dan Gilbert, who is also the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who also owns Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loans, which is the largest mortgager in the entire nation. And so we basically had to reinvent ourselves from just being an auto industry to now being more than that. And we now have to be a mortgage industry. We have to be a technology hub. We have to be a place where you can actually have places where people can live, walk, and play so that they can all keep their money all around in the city. And so that is basically what the development is becoming. And people are so busy trying to hold on to what happened in yesteryear in these liberal cities, and they are not paying attention to where all of the money is and where all the development opportunity, which also comes along with all of the big contracts.
Entertainment, family center, Ferris wheels, restaurants, music, a place that anybody visiting will want to come see. And this is maybe the most wasted piece of property in the state of Michigan right now.
And the renderings you were showing yesterday was a lot of green space.
Oh my God, yeah. If we get the bill passed and the transformational brownfield cap legislation, yeah, I mean, Dan Gilbert's done everything else he said he was going to do. But if you just look at what we're dealing.
And that's what the towers that they're trying to tear down. So there's 4 towers. It's the middle tower, right, which they're leaving at because that's actually a hotel. And then you have 4 towers that are all surrounding it. They're trying to tear down the 2 towers that actually face the Riverwalk, and then that's where they then build everything else that they were saying in the renderings.
With here, can you imagine taking out those towers and having nothing but public green space and entertainment as far as you can see in both directions? It will bring people from around the world to Detroit just to see the site.
Something that a lot of people do reference is the amount of blight that has been removed in your tenure.
Yeah.
Is that remarkable to you?
You know, I drive the neighborhoods every weekend, just trying to go to the maybe the most neglected neighborhoods to see the progress we're making. So I've been watching it every day for 11 plus years. And, you know, sometimes I go down these streets and I just shake my head. I go to that Marygrove neighborhood where you couldn't have sold a house for $10,000 and now they're going for $150,000. And you think about the wealth that we built up for the people who stayed. It's very rewarding.
And what do you hope to take from all of this in your bid to run the state?
You know, people.
Hopefully I can get, I plan on having Mike Duggan do an interview and we can have that conversation because I'm interested in what his plans is for the state. I'd love to talk to him, but it's unfortunate to see how people are evolving. The videos that you see with the broken glass and stuff, that was from when that property was abandoned and every last one of those houses have been demolished. And so it's funny because I remember when you used to be able to get those houses for $1,000. Now, a lot of those same houses is $200,000. And there has been an increase, an enormous increase in wealth, but because people didn't see the vision, it's so funny. Now you see a bunch of people saying, hey man, how can I get in? Hey man, how can I take care of it? Hey man, how can I start to be a part of the transformation? By the time you start to get into it, it's funny. You wait for white people or you wait for people that's outside of your community to then come in and change things. But then people that's outside of your community already then benefited from it. And then you want to call it gentrification. It's not gentrification. It's an opportunity. You had the opportunity to take advantage of it, but you neglected it and you wanted to run where you thought everybody was instead of taking care of your own home. And that's the problem, is that people take no pride in their own stuff. And so what happens is other people come in because they see the value that you neglected. They then hold on to it and improve it and then create a plan where they basically benefit from it. 5-10 years from now, they multi-millionaires because they decided to take pride in the community that you wanted to run away from. Oh man, I should have did this when I went back in time. Well, that's your fault. That is your fault. Your fault. Everybody want to chase everybody's tail, but nobody can see what the opportunity is. And I've been telling people for years, but they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to listen. They didn't want to pay attention. They didn't want to listen. And so now this is the result of it. Shout out to LA. I hope y'all get y'all stuff together. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.